I
Mhm.
love when we cut back to in the market and stuff that Appa's just chilling
So
in
good,
like a
he's
boat.
chilling in the water like he's a boat, and, like, he
It's
doesn't need to chill in the water. Why
no, he
does
could
he
be on
do
land, but
that?
he's just like hanging out. He's like, this
He's
is
like
easy.
yeah, he's
I'm
parked
just having a
there.
good time.
So cute.
So we get that. We get Aang being on the side of being worried about the storm because
Mhm.
obviously he's very traumatized from the storms, which
Yeah, he
have
doesn't wanna have to
not
fly
to
Appa through that.
yeah, which I mean for him makes a lot of sense because obviously, his big traumatic experience with that. I'll say also just heavy relate like storms give me such severe anxiety. Like I do not like
Mm.
storms. They're not fun. I because they're just they're so scary to me because like I can't control any of that and Mother Nature is
Yeah,
so
that's
powerful.
true.
Like
It really
I
is. Like, I always get afraid during a storm that, like, a tree is gonna fall, like, because during I'm in New Jersey, and there
Mhm.
like, I lived through Sandy. I was alive during Sandy,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
that bad. But, like, a tree fell next to my house, and if it was just a little bit to the other side, it would've, like, crushed my whole family. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like, ever since then, it's like, storms are scary, that can knock
Yeah.
things over, I don't know what could happen,
No,
can't control that.
I do not like I'm literally at the like bottom of tornado alley and like super deal with tornadoes like
Uh-uh,
all the time.
uh-uh,
And
I
yeah,
used to be terrified of tornadoes.
I'll hate it. Apparently though, one of the funniest things I just slept through a tornado whenever I was like younger, apparently that literally was like on our street. Just like I don't know, I was like 5 or 6 or something.
Oh my
My parents were like,
god.
yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's cool. I'm glad that I was able to do that when I was younger. I'm petrified of
Yeah.
them now, like just
So,
awake the whole
yeah.
time. But yeah, so heavy relate to being
Heavy
anxious about
relate.
storms and even more so because of his trauma that we'll get to as this episode unpacks.
Mhm.
Um, so we get that. We get the fisherman figuring out that Aang is the Avatar, and he's real pissed about it. He's like, "You turned your back on the world and all of this," and Katara
It's
leaves to
wild.
defend him, as Katara normally
Mhm.
does. I love the line that the fisherman says, where he's like, "I guess I must have imagined the last 100 years of
Yes,
war and
and he
suffering."
just hammers home the exact stress and anxiousness that Aang is feeling, and, like,
Mhm.
what he's feeling it about.
Yeah, like he just hits without knowing it. Like this is exactly why Aang feels so bad. He's like, I know, dude,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Like I didn't mean for that to be a thing.
Yeah,
Um, and the storm starts getting closer and closer, and so Aang just straight up like that mixed with the dude
mhm,
just yelling at him. He
and then
flies away.
Katara says, "It's not his fault he disappeared, right,
Hmm.
Aang?" And he flies
And he's
away at
just
that because he's
he
like,
feels
"No,
like it
it is my
is.
fault."
Yeah,
But, like, they
and
don't know that, like, and I think he thinks too, like, if she finds that out, will they change their minds about me? Will they think I'm a bad person? Will they
yeah,
think I'm like, he's basically like, "It's my fault
they
that this
do
war happened and there's these lives are destroyed."
they do such a good job of showing the like levels of anxiety and stress and like
Mhm.
responsibility that he's feeling without having to say a lot of it. Like obviously they do get into him like talking about it and saying it, but they show so much without having to say it as well. Like you're able to infer so much and like f-
Again,
the show don't
showing,
tell
not
yeah, like
telling.
it just like, you can just see it in his face and his body language and the mixture of what the other characters are saying and the situation that they're in, like the approaching storm. And again, the all of the moments that we've gotten before this too, they really hammer home like him continuing to feel bad about how he wasn't there for everyone. And like he
Mhm.
keeps on seeing things that he's like, well, if I could have been here, I might have been able to do something, but I wasn't. And him
Yeah,
just like feeling terrible about that. And it just keeps getting worse and like keeps getting brought
and
up
growing and gr yeah.
and like he keeps getting reminded about it. And so there's that. And Aang goes away and he flies into a cave and
Mhm.
Katara will go with Appa to find him. And
Immediately
he's
chase him
sulking.
down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Katara starts a fire. And so then we get our flashback and we get Aang backstory, which
Yeah.
is amazing. So we're back at the Southern Air
Very
Temple.
important, yeah. I love the way they
Hmm.
draw it too, like, they how they
Have like the
make you
vignette,
yeah, the
like the
vignette, they make it
mhm.
foggy, yeah.
It like feels
Vignette
different,
is
you
a
can
better
tell.
term for that. Yeah.
And so we get to the day he's talking about the day the monks told him that he is the Avatar. He said that he was teaching
Mhm.
the other kids how to do the air scooter. I love that they just casually drop because like one of the kids is like, "Where did you learn that?" And he's like, "Oh, I made it
Oh,
up."
I made it up. Like, he's prolific, like, he is, like, an Because it was known before he was the Avatar. Like he was also just a really good airbender, like a
Yeah,
natural. But I
like
think
the
that
yeah,
also is the fact that he's the Avatar, that it's so
yeah,
easy
but
for him
like,
to pick up.
dude made up the air scooter thing. Like that's iconic, bro. Come
Like
on.
that's at 12 years old? That's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
it's impressive, and the other kids couldn't master it, which is funny.
Yeah, they
Um,
couldn't do it at all.
So we get Gyonso telling him to come and talk to the other monks, and this is where the monks show
Hmm.
that, like, one, they tell him that normally they wouldn't tell him at 16, but there are troubling signs. There's storm clouds gathering, is what they say, which just more thematic reinforcement, which is great.
Yeah,
Like it's
of
just
like the
working
storm.
on so many levels. Like love the
That's the
show,
name of the
even when they're
episode.
like even when they're not subtle, it works because of all the other ways that they are subtle.
Yes.
So like at times they can be in your face about it, and it's like good. It feels earned because of all the other things too,
Yeah,
which is
like I can't
great.
even make fun of it. Like it just
Yeah,
works.
because it's
Yeah.
just like it's the right kind of, they do it at the right moments and in the right ways. And
Hmm.
then this is where we get the like avatars picking out the toys that were the past avatars toys.
Yes.
Like they put the different toys in front of him, and they're like, and he's like, oh yeah, I remember like picking these out. And they're like, yeah, you picked them because they were from your like past lives. And he's like, well, I just thought they were like cool. And they're like, nah, it's like more than that. And I love
Yeah.
how they established that as a part of the process for picking out the avatars.
Which we
Like,
discussed in the first episode is a
mhm.
real uh method of finding who the new Dalai Lama is. Or
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. I literally in a class I
If
was
I'm
on.
wrong, correct me, but yeah.
No, I believe. Yeah, it is. That's how they. It's one of the ways they figure out the new Dalai Lama,
Mhm.
which is wild. Um, and so that's very clear inspiration for them, and like works especially for the monks because that's their whole thing.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's also just such a cool way for them to try to figure out like who the next avatar would be. Like
Mhm.
because yeah, that would be a really big problem in this universe. Like if the avatar is reincarnating into someone else, it's like, well, you gotta find them. Like you have to
Well, you gotta,
figure
yeah,
that
you don't
out.
know who it's gonna be.
Yeah, so like it makes sense that they would try to devise a different or a way to do that. And so it's
Mhm.
just it's cool that they do that. Um they say that a war will come soon, so they need him, and that's why they're
Mhm.
telling him that he's the avatar this early.
Hey, Aspect listener, enjoying the show?
Then be sure to subscribe here on The Aspect so you never miss an episode.
And check out more episodes and clips on our playlist here.
Thanks so much for watching, and
Lemio Hotman.